Hi, fellow traders. I trust that everybody has had a great weekend and that you are rested, relaxed, and you're ready to get back after it here again tomorrow. But I wanted to share a message with you. And, well, let me preface it by saying this. I come from a long line of teachers. My great-grandparents were teachers on both sides of my family. My great-grandparents, my grandparents, and my parents on both sides. So, I tried to deny it early. I stayed away from education, but I guess if it's in you, you're going to find your way back to it, and I did. And I share that because there are times where I'm places or I experience something and a lesson idea comes to mind. And that's the way it was when I was teaching high school. That's the way it is now when I'm teaching the the students who or the student teachers or the teachers coming from industry. That's how I teach them. So I was at the football game last night, and after about the first quarter and a half, and we failed to even get a first down. I mean, the first play from scrimmage, we got a touchdown. A guy threw a pass, our best player took off running and got a touchdown. Got two turnovers after that and could not do anything with it. Couldn't even get a first down. So, I kind of checked out and started thinking about other things. So when the fourth quarter came, I started thinking, hey, we're getting ready to start the fourth quarter now. In finance, you kind of break the year up into four quarters. When I was in school, our school year was broken up into four quarters. So, things just started clicking. And, at the football game at the beginning of the fourth quarter, you see a lot of teams now, they're holding up the four fingers like you see here. And, one of the stories is it originated with Bear Bryant in Alabama because, it was his way of getting his team to continue to fight and to focus into the fourth quarter. Is that we have to, we can't give up. And I'm a college football connoisseur, and I see a lot of teams that play good the first three quarters and lose it in the last quarter. I've also seen teams that have played bad in the first three quarters and end up winning it in the fourth quarter. Last week we saw it with UCLA when they beat Texas A&M. I mean, you have to finish. And so I'm thinking that, in order for us to secure our financial future, if those of us that want to be traders, we want to be, financially independent, we want to use the market as our vehicle to get there. In order to win our financial future, we have to finish. We have to execute. And, we have to finish the fourth quarter. We can't give in. If we had a good three quarters, we can't cruise in the fourth quarter. If we had three bad quarters, then we still can finish the year strong if we, finish the fourth quarter. And, I was just thinking about that, and I remembered one of the speeches I had for my high school students, because these guys were so smart. The grading scale was so that all they had to do was work three quarters, and they could just check out the fourth quarter and still pass the class. And these guys knew that. And so no matter what we did, I couldn't make them, I couldn't couldn't really not pass them if they didn't do anything in the fourth quarter. So I had to give them some incentives, because a lot of students lost scholarships because they didn't finish the fourth quarter. Their grades dropped from an A to a C, and they lose scholarship money. And it was all about finishing that fourth quarter strong so that you don't lose the momentum that you have. Or if you did bad the first 3 quarters, you can nail the last quarter, and it can help bring you over the edge. So for me, that fourth quarter means a lot. And for you guys, it should mean a lot as well, because this is when we have to close out our year. Because if we close out our year strong, we start out the beginning of next year with the right momentum. And you'll see why that's important here in a minute. So the question that I have for you is, are you ready to finish the fourth quarter strong? Or are you ready to start the fourth quarter strong? Just depends on where you are in your trading. If you didn't do good the first 3 quarters, then you're ready to start this fourth quarter strong. Because here's the facts. The first 3 quarters are history. Whether you did good or bad, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters now, going into the end of the year, is the fourth quarter. And if you're unhappy with what you've done, if you're unhappy with your performance, if you don't feel like you're where you should be, you have the opportunity to close this year out on a high note. But you're going to have to change your mindset and your habits, because if you didn't do it the first 3 quarters, then there's a problem, and there's something that you have to change. You have to identify and change everything that created your poor performance. Now, I know I talk about, not changing up and just kind of hanging out and waiting. But if what you've done for 3 quarters hasn't been successful for 3 quarters, then you probably need to change your outlook, your strategies, your thoughts, your habits, your mindset. A lot of that has a lot to do with, how good or how bad our quarter was. So you really have to make changes to the negative momentum you created. There's no way around it. So let's take a look at this candle. Everybody, in trading, we know these candlesticks. And when you see a candlestick like this, what does it tell you? This is the bullish of all candlesticks. That means we started at the low, we finished at the high, and when we closed, whatever time period this candle represents, could be a day, it could be an hour, could be 30 minutes, could be 5 minutes. But whatever period it is, we finished with some upward momentum because we were continuing to push up. And this is the momentum that we need to create for ourselves. So if our first 3 quarters don't look like this, mine doesn't really look like that. I'm going to show you mine looks like this. Because I started and I was kicking it along strong. At one point, this candle was this candle. And then all of a sudden, we started pulling back. And we started pulling back. This is the bearish of all of the green candles. We closed higher than we opened. But look at what happened. When we closed this time period weak. We closed this on a downtrend. We were very bearish. So if this is what's happening, if we don't fix it, if your first 3 periods look like this is what you're going to run into next. Next, you're going to run into a candle like this where you opened and you started selling off. And you are selling off to where you may not come back. And the only thing that you could do at this point to try and keep from closing and having the bearish candle you can get is that you need to turn your trading around. You got to turn yourself around. You're going to have to finish strong. Okay, and here is a candle that was as bearish as you can get, but we finished strong. We still have some problems here. We still got some ways to go, but we finished off the bottom. And we caught it, and we started to change that negative momentum. Alright, so if you choose to dismiss what I'm sharing with you, and you keep going down the same path that you're going, you're going to end up upside down. Okay, and the definition of insanity, I think I've said this before, is if you continue to make the same mistakes over and over again and expect different results. That is the definition of insanity. If you continue to do things the way you've been doing it and they haven't worked for 9 months, what makes you think it's going to work the next 3 months? It's probably not going to happen. So unless you want to end up your year like this, where you started here with all the hype and all the energy and all the focus in the world, and you end your year down here on a downward spiral, where you're going into the next year, you're going into the new year, the first quarter, with negative momentum. And if you haven't realized it now, it's a whole lot easier for a stock to go down than it is for it to go up. So if you let yourself get down and get down too far without changing this negative momentum, then you're going to keep going down. And you're going to keep getting series of red candles until you go bankrupt or quit, one of the two. So what do we have to do? We got to get back serious. You got to get that focus and energy back that you had when you first started the journey. You got to get that back. At some point, all successful people have reached a point where they looked in the mirror and said, okay, I'm tired of playing around. Enough is enough. I'm not accepting this mess anymore. I'm not accepting average. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make it. And doing whatever it takes to make it doesn't mean spending thousands of dollars. It means getting yourself back on track. That moment that you decided to get serious, to raise your standards and commit to trying to make yourself better through trading, that's what you need to bring back. That's what you got to get. If you've lost it, you got to bring it back. If you never had it, then you got to get it. Because without it, it's not going to happen. So to make whatever commitment you make to getting serious relevant is going to take action. Okay, you're going to have to act on it. You can't pay somebody all this money and expect them to give it to you. It doesn't work that way. If you're paying somebody, if you're paying me to help you, then that's what I'm going to do. But you have to take action. You have to have the commitment. I'm committed because I'm there. But you have to be committed to taking action. So you got to get back to being serious about doing everything in your power to accomplish your goals. Because when it boils down to it, it's not my goal. You know, my goal is to help you. My goal is for you to choose me and allow me to work with you. And my goal is for you to take action and do what you need to do in order to accomplish your goal. My goal is to get you to use me as a tool, or anybody you have as a teacher. It doesn't have to be me. It could be any one of these guys out here that you choose to be your teacher, because that's the key. You know, I can't be your teacher until you choose me to be your teacher. And if you don't choose me, I'm not going to be it. So you got to make the real decision. You know, some people don't really decide to commit. You know, you decide to explore. You'll say, you know, I'll try this and see what happens, or I'll give it a shot and hope it works out. You know, I'll try to work with him for a minute and we'll see what happens. Hope is not a tactic. Hoping that something works out is not a tactic. You have to make it work. You have to make the decision that you're going to give it your all. That you're going to stop fooling around. Stop playing around and do what you need to do to be successful. And stop blaming everybody. You know, excuses are for losers. And I don't make excuses. If I screw up, I screwed up. If the platform crashed and I lost, okay, the platform crashed and I lost. But it's my responsibility because I chose to get in the trade. I'm not going to make an excuse. So you can't make an excuse. You can't say this person didn't teach you, this person didn't teach you. You know, it's just like me. I'm here. Those that I mentor, those that have chosen me to be their mentor, they have the right, you know, they use me. They need to use me. If you fail to reach out and demand what you need, I can't help you. So until you make that real decision, until you decide, you look in that mirror and say, I am sick of losing. I'm sick of not doing the right thing. I'm going to do what I know I need to do, or whoever is teaching me is telling me I need to do. I need to give it a shot. I need to do more than just do it and see what happens. I need to give it my all. You know, sometimes you got to go all in. And it's not all in with your money. It's all in with you. And sometimes all in may be 3 hours a day. Sometimes it only may be 2 hours a day. You know, guys, I did this working a full-time job during market hours. I was a teacher. Now, yeah, I had the summers off, and that helped me, you know, those 3 months of the summer that I could focus on trading. But that's all I had. The other time, I had to do it while I was working. And I had to dedicate myself and say, okay, look, I only have these hours. And no matter what, these hours are going to be for trading. I'm not focusing on anything else. I'm giving it 100%. I'm giving it my all. My family knew this is the time that I have set out. This is family time. I'm going to be with y'all. I'm going to be here to help you with your homework, do whatever. When y'all take your bath and you go to sleep, then that's my time to study. You know, my wife was in school. You know, she's getting her master's degree, so she studied. And I studied. But it wasn't until I decided that I'm tired of playing around. You know, I looked at myself in the mirror and I got tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. I got tired of not being able to buy my kids good equipment for when they played sports. You know, you don't know the feeling when you have the only bat you can buy your daughter is, you know, when she hits the ball, it vibrates and just kills her. I mean, that's the worst feeling in the world. And when you get to that point and you say, I'm tired of this, I'm going to put everything I need into it. It's not money, it's you. It's putting you into it. Yeah, some things you have to buy, but that's not what it's about. It's about dedicating yourself and doing what you have to do to make a living. You know, because I've been through it. My son was born, you know, at 23 weeks. When we got home, you know, all the bills came. You know, I had almost $1 million in bills. After the insurance paid what it did, I was still over $300,000 in debt. I had to get a second mortgage. And back then, these fools were giving second mortgages on houses and you didn't even have equity in it. So I owe 2 times what my house is worth. I mean, I got it, but I would do it again because I did it for my son. But I did not want to go through this again. Yeah, I had, you know, got to the point I had to declare bankruptcy. I went through that. I met all of those things, and I came out of that. And I came out of that a stronger person. And I knew I'm not going back there again. So whatever I need to do, whatever I'm gonna do, I need to put my heart and soul into it and get it done. And in 3 years, I worked my way out of that job. You know, I probably could have left after 2 years. You know, but I wanted to make sure I got, you know, everything in order. You know, so you have to get serious. You have to. You can't not get serious. And you have to make that decision. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm done with this. I got to give it my all. You got to have that refusal to quit attitude. You know, just because your results are not what you expected, you know, you have to develop that character that's going to allow you to put everything that you've done behind you and keep driving forward. You know, those teams that come back in the fourth quarter, they don't care about what happened first, second, and third quarter. None of that stuff matters. Just like a good second half team. You know, teams that didn't do well in the first half, they come out in the second half, they make adjustments. They're able to put whatever they did behind them, learn from their mistakes, know that if their commitment level wasn't there every play, that's why they are getting beat up and down the field. They need to have that commitment every play. For us, we've got to have that commitment every day. You know, you have to develop that character that's going to allow you to put everything behind you and keep driving forward. Because every success story, it has a setback and a comeback based on the choice of persevering. They choose to persevere and determine not to fail. You know, I know, a lot of people have mixed feelings about Trump and all of that, but, just now I was thinking, he was on the verge of bankrupt at some point. When the real estate market crashed, how many times did he declare bankruptcy to save himself? Every little setback, he didn't quit. He came back, he fought. He said he used the laws of the country to his benefit. Well, that's what we have to do. We have to work within the laws. We got to do what we got to do to make it. But we've got to have that persevering attitude. We got to have that determination that if we get ourselves messed up, if we get on the wrong side of things, that we're not going to quit. We're going to dig deeper. And we're going to make sure that we don't fail. Because everybody, we all have this inside of us. It's there. We just have to be ready to pull it out. You know, a comeback says that you're once against all of the odds, and that you accepted your failures, that you looked at your situation and you believe deep down in your soul that you have what it takes. And that if you could look up, you could get up. That you weren't going to let the past define you. And that you were going to make a new commitment, or you were going to renew your commitment that you made at the beginning when you started all of this, to bring back that excitement, that energy, that drive. The first time you learned of trading and the possibilities and the potential of earning your financial freedom. You got to bring that back. You know, I'm gonna tell you, one of the things that really irritated me, and it's because I take everything personally. You know, I've had, you know, a lot of people come in the room, you know, join the community for a month, come in 5, 6, 7 days, and said, well, nothing changed about my trading. I'm like, no kidding. Nothing's going to change in a couple of days. You have to commit to a period of time. You could have joined the room in a week where we were slow, that didn't have a whole lot of trades going on. You know, you have to stay engaged. You can't come in, join a room, and expect that person to magically make you a better trader. Like I said, hope is not a tactic. You have to be willing to put in the work. You know, my philosophy is, I'll be there to help you every step of the way, but you got to put in the work. I'm willing to put in the work. I've done it. I've been there, done that, and I'm willing to put in the work to help you get there. But if you're not going to do it, if you want to sit back and wait and think somebody's going to give you something, hell, you might as well just go buy a lottery ticket. That's the stupid thing that I was doing, you know, before I made this commitment to trading. You know, I had $150 a week lottery habit. I'm thinking I'm going to play the lottery. One of these days I'm going to hit that jackpot, and I'm going to be able to give my family everything. You know, now I sit back and look at that and want to slap myself, you know, for thinking that. Because that $150 a week or $600 a month, just imagine what I can do with that now. You see it every day if you're in chat. Imagine what you could do with $600 a month. If you just starting to learn to trade and you want to save money, you can find ways to save money. And that's what I did. I started with my $1,500 check, realized that didn't last long, but I had to make some choices. I knew I wanted this, and I did what I had to do to make it happen. So you got to refuse to quit. And you can do that by renewing your commitment and knowing that if you can get up, if you can look up, you can get up. You know, because this pain and disappointment, it can last a couple days, it could last a month, couple months, it could last a couple of years. But I guarantee you, if you quit, it's going to last forever. You'll have that on you for the rest of your life. All right, so you got to change your game. Finishing strong means you're going to need to execute your plans and strategies. Not the ones that weren't working, but the ones that you have dedicated yourself to. Okay? Expecting better results from doing the same old things is going to continue to bring you more and more pain and disappointment. You're going to continue to dig deeper in that hole. You know, you're going to dig down. How do you dig yourself out of a hole? You dig sideways and you slowly inch your way up. Now, that's what we're doing. You know, but continuing to do what you do and continuing to dig a deeper hole is not going to get to a higher level of success. You're going to keep going down until the damn thing falls in on you. And then nobody's going to get to you then. So, in order to finish the fourth quarter strong, you're going to need a new and a better strategy to get you there. And you're going to have to develop the skills to execute it. You know, again, things need to change. If you're not where you want to be, things got to change. And when faced with the need for change, you've got three options. You can do things differently. You can do different things, or you can do both. I suggest doing both. I suggest you do different things and approach it differently if you have not found success. Because that is going to, you know, elevate you and set you on the right path. So, do you need to do things differently, or should you focus on doing different things? Or do I need to do both? My personal opinion is both, but you're going to have to be honest with yourself. You're going to have to look yourself in the mirror and decide, what do I need to do? Do I need to change? Am I being stubborn and pig-headed and thinking that what I'm doing is right? Or do I need to, you know, humble myself and, you know, submit to me doing the things that I need to do to make it happen? You know, these are things that we have to do as a person, as somebody who wants to be, you know, get to a certain point professionally. You know, we have to do that. You know, and if we don't, you know, what's going to happen to us? You know, what's going to happen to us? So, the big thing here is to be honest with yourself about what you need to change. What part of the game do you need to change? Do you need to change the whole game? No, but be honest with yourself. And finally, you need to be relentless. You know, you're making a commitment to see this thing through no matter what. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you continue to do this until you've gone broke. Okay. You have to set a period or a point that if you cannot become the person you need to be, then you give it up. But you have to have a goal. You have to have a plan in place that you can execute, so that if you executed that plan and it didn't work for you, then you can walk away from this feeling that you did everything you could to make it. You just weren't able to do it. You know, not everybody can be a doctor. There are a lot of people that fail to be a doctor, that want to be a doctor. They go to medical school and they wash out. You know, a lot of people want to be a lawyer. They want to be these professionals, but they can't because they end up washing out. You know, when you go to court to be a lawyer, you know, you're, in a way, you're putting on an act. You know, I worked for a lawyer all during college. You know, and I got to see a lot of things. And I got to see a lot of lawyers who I just knew weren't going to make it. You know, if you don't have what it takes, somebody's got to tell you, because you're going to go broke. You know, but you have to be relentless and you have to see it through. You set your timetable, and when you get to that, you assess your situation and you be honest with yourself. that way. But if you keep trying to do the same thing and you quit in the middle of it, that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. So being relentless means that you've adopted the spirit that you are incapable of being deterred. Nobody's going to tell you that you can't do it. You're going to do whatever you need to do to get there. And sometimes it may mean humbling yourself and accepting what you don't want to believe. But if you really want to get there and you really want to do it, then it can happen for you. Now, as you work towards your goals of finishing the fourth quarter, strong, you got to understand there's never going to be a day that goes by that's not going to require dedication, discipline, perseverance, and accountability. No day is going to go past without that. There should never be a day where you fail to execute, because that is when you start seeing that big wick at the top of your green candlestick, and you don't want to see that. I call those reversal hammers, which means there's a good chance that the momentum is shifting and we may be reversing positions or directions, and you don't want that to happen. So what happens when somebody sees a stock that's going down and they want to keep it up? Those guys fight. They bring whatever they got to keep that stock from dropping until it's ready to. We got to have that same fight. We can't let ourselves drop until we decided that that's it. It doesn't make sense to continue. I don't have what it takes. I can accept that and I can move on to something else. That's kind of what it boils down to. So I hope you guys got something out of this message. It's something that I really, really wanted to share. It was burning in me, and that really is what helped me make it through the game last night. It was just burning in me, and I just sat down and started writing this morning because I really wanted to finish this and really share it with you. So, before I go, I do want to share. I did share this earlier, but we do have a small account education program that I am starting, and all I'm asking is that you commit to yourself for a quarter. You don't even have to be. You don't have to join me. Whoever you join, whoever you're with, make sure that you can dedicate, at least give a quarter to your dreams. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with $1,500. We're going to go step by step. We're going to learn by the numbers. You're going to see exactly, what I do in chat. Exactly what I do. The focus is going to be on education and demonstrating the skill building techniques that you need to employ for the account, to grow your account. You're going to be building that foundation that you can always come back to. The foundation that you need to get to the next level. So what you're getting, you get a quarter subscription to the chat room. So if you sign up now, you get immediate access, but it's going to run through the end of December. So you get a couple free weeks. The sooner you sign up, the more free days you get, in the community. And I'm going to start this next week. I'm going to start doing recaps of my day in chat. That's something that a lot of members want me to do. And they're going to be able to take advantage of what I'm starting here. But one key thing that I feel is very important that you will be getting for free is the Day Trading Psychology Workshop. It's a 4-class workshop that helps you understand who you are as a trader, understand all of the emotions, how to deal with those emotions, how to use them to your advantage, how to make those emotions work for you, and how to become that calm, cool, collected, and patient trader that you're going to need to be in order to get to the next level. So all of this will cost you $149 for a quarter of chat room membership, and you're going to get me in chat every day. We're going to be focusing on small accounts. If there's anybody that's trading with a small account, pass this on. Put them in touch with me. I want to try to help as many people as I can this last quarter. And no, I'm not. I can charge $1,500 for this because it'll be worth it. $149, even with a $1,500 account, you can make that in a day if you trade the way I teach you how to trade. It'll be easy to make that in a day. If you do things against, just like I do sometimes, then yeah, you're gonna lose $150. But you'll win more than you lose. So you'll come out on top. So it's all based on you and whether you're willing to take this journey. I'm asking you to give me a quarter. Put in a quarter's worth of work. Give it your all, give it your 100%, and let's see where we are at the end of December. I don't think that's too much to ask for you to try to win your financial future. So definitely think about that. It's something that I love teaching, and I love seeing new traders. I love seeing that light bulb go off, and I love to see them start making strides toward their goals. That's the satisfaction in teaching. So before we go, I need to share with you a disclaimer. I have to let you know I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm not a registered broker, so I do not trade for anybody else other than myself. We're not in the business of transacting trades for anybody else. So, nor does any service that I provide constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, promotion, or endorsement of any particular security or other investment product, transaction, or investment. My process and service works if you do. But it does not work for you. It doesn't do the work for you, and it doesn't guarantee that you're going to earn any money. Though I represented this service in the most honest and truthful way possible, and the methods I teach have worked for me and a lot of my clients, your results are going to vary depending on a variety of factors, including your skills, knowledge, ability, dedication, etc. Because these factors vary according to each individual, I cannot and do not guarantee your success, income level, or ability to make an income. I've taken every effort to accurately represent this service and its ability to teach you how to day trade. But again, there's no guarantee that you'll make money just by participating in the chat room, the mentor sessions, or the education webinars. because this isn't a get rich quick scheme, and it's not a scheme that guarantees you X amount of return. You're responsible for the results you achieve. I make every effort to provide, quality information, the strategy and the guidance to achieve these results. But in the end, it's up to you to make it happen. So if you want to get in touch with me, Average Joe Trader. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm expanding my reach a little bit more on social media. If you need to email me, ed@averagejoetrader.com. And we will, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm the only one getting the emails, so, you'll definitely hear back from me. So thank you guys for hanging out and listening and being a part of this. And again, if you want to join and want to be a part of our small account trading program, I'm asking for a quarter. Dedicate a quarter to yourself and see where you are. So have a good one, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.